It's Kamal from FYR again. Unfortunately, the intro didn't really get recorded this week, so I'm gonna have to do it again. But this week we've got a very special episode for you. We've got a woman, very illustrious woman named Tarze, and she will be sharing her business called Senbisa. It's a massage therapy business. It deals with helping like the core, body growth, and basically fixing yourself. It's almost like going to the doctors. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoys. I hope everyone tunes into Senbisa and checks out her website. And without further ado, the video.
Kind of cases was more and more complicated. So they needed more help, needed more in-depth care. They'd probably been to other health professionals and haven't got any remedy to their core. So there was a lot of pain and chronic pain, deep-seated pain. So then I realized, like, actually the Swedish massage wasn't helping. So I would treat them, and then a day later they'd be ringing me saying they were still in pain. And then I was like, okay, so I need to do something else here, because this isn't working. So I was kind of like in tune with what my clients wanted.
So you do it for the love of the clients, basically?
Well, I just like to see people healthy. Like, if they're coming to me for help, then I have to try my best to help them, you know? So that's why then I retrained with the tweenar medical massage, which is a lot like, I guess the easiest way to explain it is like acupuncture, but without the needling. So it's working in that same energetic way, bringing homeostasis, like I said, back into the body and making sure that everything is working in a balanced way. So when I learned tweenar and then was using it on the clients, I saw a massive improvement. And it is quite a rigorous, intense style, but it gets the results. So I would see that once I treated patients, it was lasting more than 1 or 2 days. It was lasting about 5 days. Post-treatment, they were still feeling the effects. And sometimes I would only treat people just once, and they would say, actually, it's gone, I feel better, it's great.
Cured.
Yeah. And then other people, it would be like a series of treatments, and then they'd get better. And then other people now just use it for maintenance because they know it's such a good system and they want it to be part of their healthy lifestyle. So they just come every couple of weeks or every month and, yeah, just make sure that their health stays on top. So, yeah.
Nice. It's like a quick fix.
It can be a quick fix or a deeper fix. So it depends on what's going on in that client's body and what they need at the time. So it's great if people have, like, injury, like if they've twisted their ankle, or they're a sports person and they've done a lot of weight at the gym, or they're boxing or lifting weights and, the muscles are really achy. It's really good for that. But then it's also good if people have chronic conditions like fibromyalgia, endometriosis, and other, deep-seated conditions like that.
I want to ask about what these are, but we'll get into that another time.
Okay.
So yeah, what sets Senbisa apart from other massage places?
Senbisa actually means to have good health.
You answer the question.
Yeah.
Answer the question that you can ask it.
Okay, so Senbisa means to have good health. So what I'm trying to do is helping my clients to have good health, not just have like a really nice massage, because you can essentially get that from anywhere, but I'm wanting, and my clients are choosing to focus on their health and well-being. So it's a lifestyle choice. It's not just a treat, which it can be, but it's also a lifestyle choice. So when I'm doing the massage, I will give them physio exercises to keep them well. A lot of people, when they come, it tends to be their working environment, which will have an impact on their body. So neck, back and shoulders will be tight. If someone's sat at a desk all day, they're in that position.
Yeah.
And when people are at a desk, they tend to sit there for hours and hours and hours. They tend not to get up and stretch or walk around every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes. So it's about giving them those lifestyle adjustments so they can stay healthy in their work.
So it's like loosening them up a bit.
Yeah. Cool. And it's just for them to kind of focus on their health. Because one of the things we talk about with my clients is that if you're sat down for, 12 hours a day, and then you think, oh my goodness, I'm tired, and then go home and sit down for the rest of the evening hours, you spent a significant amount of hours literally just sat down. not using your limbs, so therefore you're not getting good blood flow to your limbs. And then you go to the gym maybe 1 hour out of those 24 hours in the day, but the majority of the time you've probably sat down for 17, 18 hours. Then the rest of the time you're prone because you're sleeping. Do you know what I mean? So even though people may be going to the gym every day, the actual lifestyle itself isn't healthy because they've spent a lot of the time just sitting down, so you don't get that good blood flow into the limbs and around the body. So it's thinking of ways when people are at work or doing what they do for work to integrate those health practices into what they do.
Lovely. So what would you say your spirit animal is?
Spirit animal? What's my spirit animal? I don't know.
Good question, isn't it?
I don't know. I would maybe say, can I say anything?
I mean, we've had some crazy ones.
Okay, I would say elephant.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, I like elephants.
Cool.
And I like what they represent, the health, the beauty, the balance, the strength.
Yeah, it's like...
the family, the unity. I like that.
Like, must have been a dog that got pregnant and an elephant that got pregnant. Elephants obviously take 2 years to carry their children. And the dog must have said to the elephant or something that, why haven't you given birth yet? Why are you still pregnant? It's because it takes time. I have to nurture the being that I've got inside of me, because for when it comes out, it's going to be the greatest thing ever type of thing.
Oh, there you go. So elephant is good.
Elephant is good. So you mentioned like you treat sports injuries. So like what types of sports mainly like come to you?
I've seen weightlifters, boxers, runners, and just athletes in general.
Athletes in general. What is it that appeals to them?
That the treatment actually works in real time. Because the way that we work, we get a lot of good oxygenated blood flow back into the muscles. Okay. So that works in 2 ways. Then it's going to prevent injury, because that muscle is properly nourished and drawing the nutrients from the blood. But also it's going to make that muscle fire up more quicker and last longer. Okay. So then they can train harder for longer as well. So that's why it's really good, and also recover quicker.
Makes sense.
It does.
Cool. So, let me find a good question here. Can you share a memorable client success story where massage therapy significantly improved their quality of life?
I had one client who came to me and they were having a problem with their legs. So essentially lots of pins and needles, essentially like the legs were just kind of not working. So I always take a client case history to find out what's going on with them. And it turned out that they were spending a lot of time just sat down, because that was the nature of their work, where they needed to be sat down for hours and hours and hours. And it wasn't something that they could do standing up at all. So they would spend like 11 hours sat down working. Then they would say, okay, I've done a lot for the day, so sit down and watch TV for another 5 or 6 hours. Yeah. But they were doing this consistently for years and years and years. So when they came to me, it was at the point where the legs were going numb and pins and needles, and the legs felt like lead. So when I tracked it back, it wasn't necessarily coming from the legs per se. It was because of the lifestyle. So that's why I look at my clients holistically, not just necessarily what they present with, because from what they tell me, how they're living their lifestyle, and even some emotional impact will have an impact on the body. So then what we did was we put together a health program for them. So while they couldn't change their job because it's their income, we made it that, okay, you're going to get up every 20 minutes, and these are the exercises that you're going to do. Then when you go for your lunch break, another set of exercises. Then in the afternoon, these sets of exercises, and then just come back for a treatment every 2 weeks or every week, as and when you feel that you need it.
So you basically put an element of movement into their lifestyle.
Movement, and also their own accountability, because we all know what it's like. Once you start working, you get into that zone, don't you? And you kind of forget about your own body, because you now moved from, doing things physically to doing things mentally.
Yeah.
And mentally you're expending a lot of energy.
Okay.
But the body isn't. The body's quite static. So once they did that, we see that the legs were getting better within a month. Okay, and we did length strengthening exercises and exercises that they could do sitting down in order to increase that blood flow and circulation in the legs as well.
Nice.
So that was really good. That's just one. There's a few more, but that's just one.
Do you want to tell them my story?
Do you want to tell your story?
No. We'll save that for another day as well.
Okay. I'm coming back then, it looks like it. Okay.
Yeah, we like to check on our guests in like a year's time.
Okay.
Type of thing. So can you share more about the long-term health benefits of regular massage therapy?
Long-term benefits. Again, it's about getting that fresh oxygenated blood flow, that pain relief, that suppleness, having that range of movement. Because of the nature of the work these days, people do lead a very sedentary lifestyle, meaning they're just sat down a lot of the time. And the body is very much like, use it or lose it. The body will do that. Like, if you're not using me, then, it means you don't need me. And it will stop working. So in order to, combat that sedentary lifestyle, it's also about the mobility. So the massage is one thing, because that's something that I can do for the patient. But where the patient and I work in harmony, this is where the Qigong aspect comes in. Okay. So I obviously am the therapist, so I will treat the patient. But with the Qigong, this is something that the patient can therefore do at home. Mm-hmm. So this is a set of exercises that balances out the work that we've done in clinic. So we will work on the energetic systems of the body in order to keep that, homeostasis going.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I really do. How do you come up with your pricing? Is it you compare yourselves to different therapists type of thing, like how Asda matches prices with Lidl or something? Or is it because you're so niche you can charge your amount?
A little bit of everything, really. I think when anybody starts anything, you always kind of undercharge, don't you? Because you think, I'm a novice at this. You look at everyone around you and everyone's so much better. So you think, oh my goodness, I'm not worth that at all. But then what I found as well is that, people can also take liberties with that because they don't value what you do. So I remember in the beginning, and my prices were very economical, I shall say. But then people would just cancel and not turn up because it's cheap, innit? So you can just, yes, it's all right.
How did that make you feel?
I was a bit bemused at first because my treatments are really good. So I'm like, well, why? So it becomes throwaway for them. Do you know what I mean? Because the price is at such a low point, it's easy for them to just say, it's a loss. I've got that money, it's no loss to me. So then what I did, got some business advice, spoke to the people in the trade, my mentors, the people who trained me as well, and looked at how they did. And I always take my lead and direction from them. And so I looked at what they were doing and other people in the business. And it was like people value something at a certain price point. Mm-hmm. So the benefit of that was I lost a lot of clients, but then at the same time, I gained more clients who were more respectful of my time, the work I was putting in, and also, because it's not just about the massage, it's about putting together the Qigong health profile and the physiotherapy exercises as well, because when you're a client of mine, I am invested in your health and well-being, yeah? So that level of service was therefore represented in the fee, and it has worked really well.
So you could say you lost clientele, but you gained respect.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and a better calibre of clientele. So, yeah.
So, One second. Let me
You offer a range of specialist therapies such as tweener, medical massage, and qigong energy synergy. Can you explain how these different therapies work and the specific benefits of them?
Thinking about qigong and how that works, qigong is very much about your internal energy. So the best way to explain it is if you think about the energy that you was born with. In traditional Chinese medicine, we would say that that's like your inheritance. Mm-hmm. Like you came to earth with your inheritance. So if you're always spending on your inheritance and one day you dig in the pot and there's nothing there.
Just grabbing on air.
Yeah, you're just grabbing on air. So what we're trying to do is maintain your inheritance and then acquire more money. So then we move from your inheritance to your acquired chi. You've got they call it your Jing essence that you're born with, then you can acquire your chi to bring more in. So that's like you having your inheritance, but not spending it, but then getting a job to kind of bring in more income.
Okay.
Yeah, so think of that in terms of energy as well. Mm-hmm. All right, so when we do the Qigong, we say that Qigong is like the mother and father of Tai Chi. Whereas when you look at Tai Chi, you see lots of movements and external forms. Qigong will be more internal work, more breathing, more subtle movements. Yeah. So the breath, gentle movements, and the mindfulness, the focused meditation, when you're doing those movements, is what helps to balance and draw that energy in to your being. So you've got extra longevity, clarity of mind, better managed emotions, better digestion, your organ energy systems are working more in harmony with each other. And we use Qigong as well as balancing out the physical. You could have a busted ankle or a busted shoulder and you do the Qigong. It's also excellent for the mental things as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because people can damage themselves a lot with a lot of emotionality, whether it be fear, anger, jealousy, irritability, worry, grief. Stress. So grief is a big one, particularly after COVID. A lot of people have lots of things going on in their family. A lot of people know people who are burying people practically every week, because people's health is at such a point right about now where it's really struggling. And this is where Qigong can really make an impact, can really make a difference. And it's stuff that you can do standing, you can do it seated, you don't need any fancy clothes, you don't need any fancy equipment. You could literally sit here now and do a set of Qigong.
Well, even sitting down?
Even sitting down.
Nice.
So this is the beauty and the benefit of it, where people can literally improve their health really quite significantly, just through a few breathing techniques and a few basic movements, just to kind of bring in that acquired chi, that acquired life force.
Lovely. Nice answer. Your ProFem program focuses on women's health conditions. What specific issues do you address?
When we look at women's health, we say that women have 3 bodies in their lifetime. And people are like, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean?
So women will have 3 bodies in their lifetime. So you grow up as a little girl, then your first body, you hit puberty, right? So then your body changes, people, their boobs get bigger, their bum gets bigger, they're starting to have their periods, and then the emotions come in as well, mental emotions, because now you've got all these hormones that are rushing in. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing all these changes physically, and you're seeing all these changes emotionally and mentally as well. That's the first body. Then if they reach their 20s or their 30s and even 40s in some cases, some people then go on to have babies. So you have another body when you get pregnant, because now you have this little life that is taking every little bit of nutrient from you to support itself. So you could end up losing your teeth, or your hair could fall out, but this baby is taking everything to make sure it sustains, and you will quite happily give it to this young life because you're bringing life into the world.
Of course, nurturing.
Yeah, so that's the second body women will have, and tied into that is also the breastfeeding. So it's about staying healthy and being able then to nurture that child. So this is why that woman needs to stay healthy. Socially speaking, we could probably do with a bit more respect for women's health and women's bodies when they are pregnant and they're therefore nurturing that child afterwards, because it is a massive tax and toll on the body. In some cultures, that the woman wouldn't work for 3 months. She'd go away to a nice little hospital. Is that me?
That bit can get quite out, can't it? Yeah.
So in some cultures, a woman would go away for 3 months and just be nurtured, be replenished, be renourished, because of all the, energy has gone into this child, all the nutrients have gone into this child. So some places they would let this woman be nourished so she wouldn't have to be thinking about rushing back to work.
Okay.
Yeah? And, other places...
Can you give an example?
In China, they have clinics where they specifically will nurture women. It's it's not a free service, obviously, but yeah.
No,
and I didn't know
that.
I think somebody told me that they can do something similar in Canada. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard some other places do.
Canada's a bit relatable.
Do a similar service as well, because it's a lot of work. Yeah, and then you have the next stage, which is menopause, where at one time all those hormones were rushing in, but now they're rushing out and going in the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. So people feel like they did when they was a teenager, really moody, all these emotions going up and down, the periods are going funny now, So, but the difference is, you're at work now, you're a working woman, and you can't be kicking off at work. You'll get the sack. You're not a teenager anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these how you see it affect women in the workplace. I know that in British society, there's a lot of women who end up finishing work early or maybe being dismissed because of menopause issues. Mm-hmm. So the British workforce in that respect loses, millions and millions of pounds in terms of women working, and also that knowledge that they've possessed over the years, because they reached a stage in their life where the menopause is having an effect on them mentally and emotionally and physically as well. Yeah. So that's what I say when we look at Qigong and the pro-fem work, is how do we balance those three bodies? Because it's three distinct areas that we go through in our life. So we do, the pro-fem does encompass a lot of the Qigong, but also a lot of herbal medication, gentle medication. There may be medicinal medication that some women may need as well, but it's about bringing all of that into balance, because most women don't want to stop working. They enjoy work. They've been really productive in their working place. So sometimes we say, it's just about doing things differently. You have this new body. And sometimes it causes more stress if you're in your menopausal body, but thinking you're in your teenage body. Mm-hmm. That in itself can be stressful, because then you've got the stress of I want to be back where I was. I want to be back. And it's a different way of working with it.
As a male, I wouldn't really think of those things, but it's quite interesting to just hear and understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's more pronounced because people know that women have babies and they know that women have periods, so there's more talk of it in that respect. Mm-hmm. But then women become menopausal, it's they say, okay, it's fine, HRT, be on your way. Whereas when men have the opposite, which is called andropause, which is a drop in testosterone, mm-hmm. they just tend to, what they tend to do, normally trade in the wife, get a younger model, buy a fancy car, and then all of a sudden we've got adverts for Viagra and Cialis because they want to make sure that the man can perform at his best. But you don't see the same for women at that level. So you can see there's still these differences in society.
Cool. So, yeah, couple questions now, probably last two. How do you define success?
Health for me.
Health.
Yeah.
Simple answer. Health.
Yeah, to be successful, you want to have good health, because then when you've got good health, you're happier, you're healthy, your relationships are more in harmony. There's people who could have success, like financial success, but for me, I'd want it to be a little more holistic: health, family, work, money, all that in balance.
I'm going to give that quote of the day. So, last question. Where can we find you? In fact, I've got another one. I wanted to ask you one more. Where did it go? Yeah, what's next for your business?
I'm working currently on a Qigong distance learning ritual. So this is where people can sign up and they can go through the Healing Sounds Qigong ritual that we're doing online. So this is an online course that people can do in their own time, and then we set up a series of master classes thereafter, so we can go through the form, any questions that people may have, and take them through it as a group setting. So that's really nice, and that's something that we're looking forward to doing. And there's a free taster class as well. If people can sign up and they're not sure about what Qigong is, they can sign up to the free taster class, spend a few weeks doing that, assess how it works for them. It's always very good to be your own scientist. So you know what your health issues are, you know what's bugging you. So think about that at the beginning, do the Qigong course, and then assess at the end of it after about 3 months and say what's changed, what's improved, what still could be improved, and then you know if it works for you. And it tends to pretty much work for everybody, I must admit.
So they're basically doing their own research.
Yeah, you become your own scientist because, you live in your body, so you should know how your body works best and what, encourages and assists your body to work at its optimum.
I like the sound of that. So yeah, where can we find you? What are the socials, emails?
The socials are at Senbisa, so you can find me on Instagram. Is it just Instagram? Yes, at Senbisa on Instagram.
Facebook?
Oh, and on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just guessing.
And Facebook. I forgot about Facebook, sorry.
Say, what, TikTok? You
I haven't
people?
yet got TikTok. Anybody wants to set up a TikTok page for me, be my guest.
Cool.
But at Senbisa on Instagram. And you'll definitely find me there.
Email?
Email is senbisamassagetherapy@gmail.com, and also on my website, which is Senbisa Massage Therapy. So you can find me on Google or just go directly to my website. Yeah, and all the contact details are there if you want to book in. Sign up for the Qigong course. Just fill out the details that are there. On the Google page.
Cool.
Well, it was very, very, very nice speaking to you today. And this is it, basically. This is the end of the interview. Hope everyone's had a good time. Thank you, Senbisa, for coming. And everyone, see you later. Take care. Mic drop.